what about you? We're back. And if you could you subscribe? If you're interested in this at all, it would be nice if you could just hit the wee button down below, because we're not getting paid for this. And seemingly that's important to get people to subscribe. I don't know why. Maybe if you don't like me, I can hunt you down. Don't know. Anyway, interesting week insofar. They say a week in politics is a long time. It is if you're Owen Patterson. Owen sat through the debate last week in Westminster, confident, assured, not worried in the least, because he knew in front of him was his Prime Minister, his pal, his friend, who was going to do all that was necessary to ensure that Owen, never worry, son, you'll be all right. And that's the way it worked out initially, yeah. Tories put through an amendment which was a disgrace, and Boris stood with his friend for all of 12 hours, about 12 hours. And then he shafted him, sacked him, told him to go, resign. Off went Owen. And Boris, being the brave man he is, also took to his heels. Yeah, he took to his heels. He ran. He didn't want to face Prime Minister's questions. So Boris ran away, and he thought, Boris decided to go to hospital, yes. They can't say anything if I'm in a hospital. So Boris, it was a good enough idea. Go visit a hospital during a pandemic, and that's what Boris did. They went to visit a hospital and wandered up and down the corridors of a hospital during a pandemic with no mask on. This is not the brightest human being who has ever held the office of Prime Minister. This idiot couldn't sell ice in the Sahara. So, hot on the heels of the Patterson scandal, and some people are saying, I've heard this, I've seen this written, that the whiff of scandal has returned to Westminster. I would humbly argue that the whiff has never left. Oh, and it's back to the House of Lords again. That perennial problem. Yeah, there's peerages for payment, seemingly. You can get yourself a lordship or whatever it is. The going price is 3 million. 3 million quid to sit among those reprobates. I'd rather sit in a club in Sandy Row after Rangers lost. The cusp of the end of the invidious protocol. The protocol that divides Northern Ireland from the rest of the United Kingdom. Yes, Article 16 looks like it's about to be pulled, and we're going to go down the toilet with it. Now, let's remember that Brexit was a con perpetrated on the UK population by a deceptive and lying Tory government. Okay, remember the bus and the millions for the NHS? Never heard of it. Remember all the trade was going to come here? Never heard of it. Remember all that stuff about a Turkey being part of the EU, which they knew was a lie? You've heard about it. So, the Tories said that it looks like the protocol will have to end. And who was the biggest cheerleaders, by the way, for Brexit? The DUP. The DUP is the party who funneled funds for an ad, pro-Brexit ad, in the Metro magazine in London. Now, why would a small, parochial, provincial political party be funneling funds for a Brexit ad in a London free magazine? I don't know. Maybe somebody will work that out for me, but I'm sure it was all above board. But now, having signed up to the agreement, the Tories and Boris want to pull the cord. Yes, they want to pull Article 16. This is a bit like a husband who has initiated a very nasty divorce. Okay, coming out of the court right after the decree absolute has been granted, and turning to the ex-wife and going, no, let's see what I said in there that I was going to agree for you to get the house. I've thought about it, and now I want the house. I'm taking the house. Seriously. So Article 16 was being pulled, and it's interesting to read what Article 16, the reason for Article 16 in the Northern Ireland Protocol. And the reason for it is, if the application of the protocol leads to, and I quote, serious economic, societal or environmental difficulties that are likely to persist or 2, diversion of trade, then Article 16 can be pulled by either party. Now, let's break this down. Serious economic problems. Yeah, there's been problems. We've had shortages. There's stuff on Amazon I still couldn't get, but there's stuff on Amazon I couldn't get before Brexit. But there's a lot of economists saying this could make us a fortune. We could be the bridge between the EU and the rest of the UK. Get a couple of quid, give a couple of quid, get a lot of quid. We could do well out of this. Societal problems, yes. There's been a few marches. But I would argue the burning of 2 buses by knuckle-dragging thugs is not enough of a reason for Article 16. Environmental difficulties, absolutely. There has been more shite talked about this than anything I have ever heard of before. And finally, diversion of trade. We could be the ones diverting the trade. We could be the ones making the money. So the clocks went back at the weekend there, and I love it. Oh, I love that. I have evolved for this climate. Believe it or not, I was a ginger, right? I was a flaring red ginger for most of my life until I went grey overnight. I just went grey overnight. Somebody showed me the pictures of Sammy Wilson in the nip. Wait. But the ginger's still there. So us gingers have evolved for darkness. We're modern day vampires. It's brilliant. We love this. All the rest of you have to stare in the lamps. We don't have to stare in any lamps. You know what I mean? Because we make our own vitamin D. Can you believe that? We don't need sunlight. We make our own vitamin D. So my prophecy is, when the day comes, and it won't be that far away, when the Armageddon has happened, and global warming has irradiated the surface of the earth, humanity will have to dig into the bowels of the earth just to survive. And who do you think they're going to choose to populate that subterranean environment? Not you big, bronzed, good-looking gigolos. No, we skinny gingers. We will inherit the earth. Most of the time, all the stories you hear about here are negative. And a lot of them involve kids or the youth. The youth. That's what they call them now. The youth. So it was lovely to come across a story during the week about Artillery Youth Club. The first youth club I was in, based down Balmain Lodge Road, and the first disco I ever went to. Not so happy memories. I touched for Big Brenda, and she hit me a dig in the jaw. No need for it. You know where you are, Brenda. Anyway, it's a side story. What I'm saying is that Artillery Youth Club, the kids were out cleaning up around the local area at the weekend. And I like to say, well done. Fair play. You know what I mean? We criticise them when they do stuff wrong. Let's give them a wee bit of praise when they do stuff right. So well done to those young people who done that bit of voluntary work.
Thank you very much, Jake. Yes, Jake, I got a backdrop, you get a backdrop, you get a tree, I get a bigger tree. So, on the news... fucking move this thing. Jesus. Tree's heavier than it looks. So, you were talking about Edmund Poots earlier. Well, more Edmund Poots news. Yes, here's Edmund Poots' reaction to the fact that the Protestants have burnt another bus.
They have become a nuisance, have become a hindrance.
What? He's not talking about a bus. He's not talking about the Protestants. Action bus! What's he on about then? Okay, let's play the rest of that video.
There's still 50 million bags in circulation each year, and we want to dramatically reduce that. We don't.
Oh look, turns out that what Edmund Poots was actually talking about was the scourge of plastic bags. It's good to see that a DUP man is trying to save the environment, do you know what I mean? But, you know, Edmund Poots has gone so far trying to save the environment that last week he asked, what's the carbon footprint of an avocado? And that got me thinking, what's the carbon footprint of other vegetables and fruits? I went and found a Tyrone farmer to find out.
So Francie, thanks for joining us today. So Edmund Poots was in the news talking about the carbon footprint of an avocado, and we wanted to find out the carbon footprint of some other things. So for example, what's the carbon footprint of, say, a potato?
Jesus, you boys must think us farmers are stupid.
Sure, potatoes don't have feet. But you know what does have feet now? Now, sheep would have feet, and pigs would have feet. Well, it's not really feet, they're more trotters that they would have. But you know, same sort of idea, you know, to walk with them. And horses have feet. Ducks have feet too, yes. Chickens, feet. Pretty much all animals really have feet, you know.
Thank you, Francie. So what else has been going on? Well, rhetoric has raised its ugly head again. Yes, that's right. Sinn Féin say the DUP need to dial down their rhetoric. The DUP say the Irish government need to dial down the rhetoric. Alliance say that everybody needs to dial down the rhetoric. And the SDLP are running about saying that they did something before Sinn Féin. Yes, that's right. They all need to watch their language, tone down the language, because they reckon it's the politicians' language that's causing the sort of, you know, wee undercurrent of tension that's bubbling away in Northern Ireland. And Sammy Wilson, he was one of the ones that wants language checked and all that kind of stuff. And you gotta look at him and you go, Sammy, really? You telling someone to watch what you're saying? I mean, one of the things that Sammy came up with recently was that due to Brexit, there is no longer a Union flag sticker on your electrical goods. According to Sammy Wilson, my Chinese fridge is now less British. I thought, you know what? I will put this to the test.
This is my fridge, full of rubbish artwork my children made that I have to display. Let's see if he's right. It's a pretty standard fridge. Now, let's see what happens when you put a Union flag sticker on it.
Sammy might be onto something there, you know. And of course there was this photograph of Sammy there a while back. He was banging on about British sausages. Here he is, photograph of him. Yep, Sammy Wilson standing there with his sausage out. Not the first time Sammy Wilson's been photographed with a sausage out.
That's all.